Hello, today I'm reading from the Tarot of the Celtic Fairies. The reason I am reading today is I want to talk about the weather and the changes and the potential that the sun is playing a huge part in what's happening. Now, yesterday, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an astronomer, I'm an astrologer, and I'm a medical astrologer. Yesterday, it was in the news that a chunk of the sun blew away. Now, I don't know what's going on, and I suspect that we don't know, but the government likely does know and isn't really telling us. That is my guess. So here I am in Hawaii, and I have been asking the wind, as there's 144 names for wind. I was asking the wind last night that was just howling in a way that was almost scary. I asked the wind about its name, and it told me it has so many names. It has so many ways it speaks. And did it ever speak last night? Almost, like I say, to a point of frightening. It was loud. It was clearly large and in charge. So today, I just want to kind of delve into, what does this mean? Are we experiencing spirit? And this is going to be a general question, because I'm going to tell you something else about asking questions that I know. That number one, when we keep asking spirit the same question, they start joking with us. They start saying, you're not really serious about the answer, so neither are we. So do keep that in mind when you ask a question. Like, for instance, when you've asked 20 tarot card readers, will that man ever be mine? Probably not. Probably just the fact that you had to ask more than once is an answer all by itself. So with that said, let's just dive in and ask about change, environmental change. Okay, Spirit, help me understand what is happening, what is going on in our environment that is leading us to change. And it starts out, let me just get this card. Oh, yes. An Ace of Stones. Something new coming to the planet Earth as we know it. Why would there be something new? Well, I don't know if you recall, but there were some guide stones. There's one in Atlanta, and then recently there's been a couple of guide stones, 3 of them, I do believe, that were put out and made available to the people. And you notice that this is in between a couple of mountains. Again, that feminine reference to the breasts or the chest, if you will, and this stone. So you've got a little bit of masculine and a little bit of feminine in the background. That what is happening is, perhaps, as you can see, there's maybe something in the way of balance being recreated for us in this altered climatic environment. So let me just continue to ask the cards about what's happening with all of this weather. I mean, it's freezing here in Hawaii. I'm like, I'm sitting here wrapped up, cold, wearing my hat. Okay, so what's happening? Well, we've got a 9 of Spears, where literally we are going to need to go into retreat in some way. Something larger than ourselves is happening, and you can see this winged creature that is battling what is below. And I think that that's a largely true statement, that we have a lot of people here on planet Earth who think that they need to battle each other based upon who they like politically or not, and taking sides. And quite frankly, I'm sorry, but we're all just people. We're just human, and no one is above or beyond another. And I guarantee you, the number 45 is not a deity of the gods any more than you or I am. So let's not get carried away here. Yeah, I understand that it's easy to be polarized in this energy of retreat and battle. It's easy to be polarized because of the way we're thinking. We're thinking, oh my goodness, this doesn't feel right, this can't be right, but we're being asked to pull back. And I know for myself a few years ago, I was overwhelmed by the thought of, oh wow, I can't use plastics anymore. What do you mean I got to recycle every piece of garbage I have and get it down to the least amount I can get it down to? And in fact, I've done that, but it takes a lot of work to think through it. And I'm very fortunate that I happen to move into a location, a house, where my roommate, my housemate, is very much into being kind to the environment. And she has taught me a great deal about environmental kindness, things I had no idea about, and she's made my learning curve just a whole lot easier. So where are we at? We're in retreat. We're having to pull back and do the right things, come out in the air with something worthy, or stay hidden. There's not really an option anymore. We can't do what we've been doing in the past in the future. We have to take care of our environment, and even that might not be enough. Now remember, we're all here by divine agreement, so none of us are victims, even if we feel like we are. And the final card in this pull is that those of us who've done our work, who've spun our yarn, who've gone to school or done the things we need to do to get educated about what we need to do, we're going to be just fine. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that we're going to just be, doing what we want to do and all is well? Probably not. You can see that this card has got a little bit of darkness in it. It's got quite a bit of darkness, and it's got quite a bit of red. And you can see this gentleman with this pointy nose, this very Plutonian, not Saturnian, let's see, what am I trying to say? Eighth house nose, Scorpio nose. He has a Scorpio kind of pointed, very prominent, very, very aware, and he's thin and wiry and old, and he's ancient in a way, and he's spinning his webs, spinning his yarns. That's what we do. And I was listening to something today on the things that are going on in the environment and where NASA stands on it. And what's really interesting is that NASA is saying things like, well, it's a rock, it's a this, it's a that. NASA's got an explanation for absolutely everything we're experiencing, and whether or not it is true, who knows. But with that, please do consider hitting the like, share, and subscribe, leaving comments, as this will help me to grow. And basically, I want to grow and continue to provide you these readings. And I thank you so much for being here today.